Hey guys, I'm finally sitting down to refilm my dupes video. It took me forever to remember what I used because that night that I filmed it, I swatched tons of stuff to make sure I had colors correct and all that good stuff. So some of the things I remembered right off the top of my head, and others I was like, what color did I do for that? Losing those videos still hurts today, so I'm not going to harp on it. I'm going to jump right in. It's going to take a while for this video, so I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with my Believe Beauty eye primer. I don't have a dupe for this. This is super cheap. It's $3.50 at the Dollar General if you have a Dollar General close to you. I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Glam palette, but I've got a dupe for you for this one. So here's what it looks like if you need a reminder. It's so beautiful, one of my favorites. She's been loved. And my dupe is the Stone Cold Fox palette from ColourPop. Now, for Stone Cold Fox, you're going to be getting a lot more shades, so you're going to have a lot more variety with Stone Cold Fox, and of course it's cheaper. I think it's about $30 cheaper, but quality on Natasha Denona. ColourPop is amazing, don't get me wrong, but Natasha Denona quality is in a league of its own. So just want to throw that out there. Okay, so for Natasha Denona, I'm going to go into this shade here called Crease. This palette is named by the places you would put it on your eye. So I'm just going to take this blending brush with a little bit of that shade, and I'm just going to start like dabbing it in my crease. I am cleaning my brush in between, just FYI. Then I'm going to go into this shade from Stone Cold Fox, which is called Fascinated. Same technique over here. So this one is a little deeper than this one, but there are a lot of grays in here that you can play with. So I'm going to go into this shade here. It's called Bold Type, if I can read. And I'm going to deepen that up a bit. So my goal here is not shade for shade dupes necessarily, but just that you can come out with a look that's very similar. Not exact match, but still very close. Then for this palette, I'm going to dip into, I think I'm going to take a little bit of the smoke shade right here. Just get a little bit on my brush and just kind of start that in this outer corner. And then for Stone Cold Fox, I'm going into the shade here called Fickle Fate. So we're looking pretty similar still. And then for the eye all over the lid, I'm going to take this shade here called Inner Corner. And I'm just going to press that on with my finger. It's a very foiled shade. For the Stone Cold Fox, I'm going into the shade here called I Dig It on my finger. All over the lid. It's also very foiled. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this shade here. It's called Center Eyelid. And I put it on my finger. And I'm just going to tap that on this edge here just to kind of mix the outer and lid shade together. And then ColourPop, I'm going into this shade here called Sediment to Me. Same thing. So I think they're looking pretty similar. So I just cleaned up the outer edges a little bit. and I'm going to leave my eyes alone for a minute, and then I'm going to go to the face. So for my face, I just recently got this primer and I'm loving it. It's the Fenty Beauty True Matte Pro Filter Mattifying Primer, and I love it. It's so good. I love the texture of it. I love how it goes on my face. It just feels so good. So I'm going to squirt just a little bit out on my fingers. It's just a lotion. Oh, I forgot I'm only doing half of my face. It feels very hydrating as it goes on, and it soaks into the skin so nicely, but it truly mattifies. Like, it's just, it's magic. I love it. It has that Fenty scent that reminds me of my dad, and that's another reason I love it. But this is good stuff. Love it. So glad I got it. But when I first used it, I was like, this reminds me of something, and I remembered what it was. It's the Revolution Priming Drops. It's the mattifying priming drops, and I've used so much of it. It's like down to right here. I really love these. So the component is a little different. It comes in a little dropper, but when you put them on your hand, it kind of looks similar. This one's a little bit more runny than the Fenty one, but it still feels super hydrating as it goes on and sinks into the skin really nicely. It still feels, or still smells fresh. So these are really great dupes of one another. In the Fenty one, you're getting 30 mLs. In the Revolution, you're getting 30 mLs. So it looks like different packaging and you're getting more in Fenty, but you're actually, it says you're getting the same. That's what it says. I promise. But they both dried down. Look how soft that is. So matte. So gorgeous. And then we'll let this one dry just one more second. So this side is so nice and dry and smooth and matte, and just, they both look so good. I just love that. Love both of those primers. Can't go wrong with either one, but you can also find a cheaper version of the Fenty if you want a cheaper version. So I broke down and bought another skin tint, but I actually said I might. So this is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator, and I really like it. I got the shade Light 30, and it's really great. It has this little squeezy applicator, and I've been really liking it. Even though it's a tinted hydrator, it's still looks really good on my oily skin. So I'm just going to use my Sigma F80 brush. I like to do it with a sponge or a brush. It actually works better with either, or it works good with either. The sponge will soak up just a little bit of your product, but it can, either one will do fine. I do like to wear a mattifying primer anytime I wear a hydrating anything. So with a any kind of hydrator, I'm gonna wear a mattifying primer. But the match is really nice. I think it looks really good. So my dupe for this one is another one that I love. It's the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This is so good. I love it. It's such a fraction of the price of the Wet n Wild, but there are pros and cons to each. I really love the Wet n Wild. The one thing I don't love about this is the way that it comes out. So like, you have to just squeeze it out. I can't squeeze it out like I did the Wet n Wild all over my face, all nice and pretty. So I've cleaned my brush out. I know it doesn't look clean, but I promise I've cleaned it. And what on this one I like to do is just to squirt a little. That looks like a lot, but I squirt a little on here and then just kind of dab it. And one of the downsides to this too is the smell. If you don't like the scent of the Photo Focus foundation, you're not gonna like this. It does dissipate, it doesn't stay, but I just wanted to mention that. In the Urban Decay, you're getting 35 mLs of product, and in the Wet n Wild, you're getting 27, so you're getting just a little bit less. You can see the difference in size there. The Wet n Wild is the light medium shade, and this one was just the regular light 30, so there is a little bit of difference there. This one is oil free, and this one does have some oil in it. It has marula oil, so there's a little difference there. You see the difference in the colors, in the tones on my face, but it's not a huge significant difference. But in case you're comparing, this one has hyaluronic acid and squalene, and this one has kombucha filtrate and marula oil, but they wear very similarly, and they look very similar on the skin. So just kind of give you an idea, let you look at them. I'm loving both. So this came out not long ago. It's the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape, and I wanted to find a dupe for it, and when I used it, I was like, I know of a dupe, and it was the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This is almost spot on for the consistency and the way it wears and everything. This Ultra Creamy doesn't have as much coverage as the original Tarte Shape Tape, but it does have coverage, and so does this one. This one's not the most ultimate coverage foundation I've ever used in my life, but it still has coverage. If you want a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, there's many out there. The original camo concealer from e.l.f. is one, and there's all kinds. There's really all kinds, but one that I have found that I really enjoy is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. This, oh my gosh, is so good, and it wears so similarly to the Tarte Shape Tape. So I'm going to put them on and let you see. In the Tarte Shape Tape Original, I'm using the Fair Light Neutral shade. And then I'm going to put just a little bit in the center. You're going to get tons of coverage from that, but just because I want just a little bit more moisture under my eyes, I'm going to take the Ultra Creamy in the same shade, Fair Light Neutral, and I'm going to put just a tiny bit here under my eyes. So just to kind of mix the two and get a little bit more out of both. So doing the same thing on this side, I'm going to take the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear in the shade Vanilla. Has a doe foot, just like the Tarte Shape Tape. And then I'm going to take the Pretty Fresh from ColourPop and just kind of put over top, just under my eyes. You don't have to mix concealers, but I wanted to give you an option for both in case you wanted just like a regular full matte concealer, or if you wanted something that would be a little more creamy. I'm just going to take my Juno & Co. microfiber sponge and blend out this concealer on both sides. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over to the other side, like I used the flat side on this side, so I'm going to flip it over to the rounded side for this other side. I did wash it, but it's just, it has some product in it. I don't think this will come as any shock, but my Peach Perfect setting powder is one of my favorites. It's the translucent Peach Whisper. I'm almost out. You see how much I love it? This comes in a 35-gram container, but my dupe for that is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid, and it comes in a 15-gram container, and I use it quite a bit too. Let me I'm trying to shake it so it kind of evens out in there. But anyway, I do use it quite a bit. I'm going to use these to set my face so that you can see, you know, how similar they are. So here is the color of the Peach Perfect from Too Faced. I'm going to use my sponge just like I did with my concealer. I just made sure all that was blended out, those lines, and then grab some on there and just set it. So can you see? I can see the line down my face, but where this side is matte where I've set it, and this side is a little bit more radiant where I have not set it. And here is the Photo Ready Candid. It does have like, it's not exactly peach, but it does have a tint to it. So I'm taking the rounded side. Both sides are set. This side has a little bit more of a peach color to it, and this side is a little bit lighter. And that's just because the Photo Ready Candid is just in the shade 001. So I don't think it's meant to be any deeper. And then the peach one just has that like peachy color to it, so you can see them together. It's just a little bit lighter, this Photo Ready. So they're still very similar in the way that they wear and the way that they, you know, mattify. They're very, very similar. It's such a smoothing effect though across the skin. I think if you could see it in person, you could just see how smooth it looks. Now I do have wrinkles under my eyes, and we're not going to talk about those, but just the skin itself is very, very smooth. All right, so let's move on to bronzer. I have the Marc Jacobs Tantric bronzer. This is the shade, and I got this at Marshall's, so I have the older packaging. I think the newer one is white, but the formula is what is a dupe. There is a Tantastic that actually I think is a shade for shade dupe for what I'm about to show you. But I love this shade too. It's a little bit warmer than Tantastic, I believe. It just has a little bit more orangey tones to it. But I love this, and I wear it all the time. So I'm going to use that on this half of the face today. Can we first take just a moment to appreciate what a little bronzer can do? This is a flat face, and this is a bronzed face. It can give just a little bit more definition back to the face, and that's what I love about bronzer. So that's the Marc Jacobs on this side. The dupe that I have for it is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 02 Sunkissed. It's not the exact shade dupe, like I said, but I love this because it is a cool tone. And I love a cool tone bronzer, but the Tantastic, I think, is a shade for shade dupe. So again, they're not shade for shade dupes. This one's a little bit warmer than this one, but the formula and how it wears is what we are talking about. Here they are on my finger. This is Marc Jacobs, this is Milani, and I'm just going to swatch them. Did you see that? How pretty they are? They both have a little, like I need to blend. Okay, so I blended them out. But they just look so similar as far as formula goes, and that's what I was looking for. I did not want to go buy a new bronzer just to show you a color dupe. For blush, I have a cream blush for you, and I didn't put it on before powder on purpose. And I only have a sample of the color of this one, but I have this Tower 28 blush in the shade Rush Hour, and I love it, love it. And I want to get more colors, but I also got some samples of colors, and this color is called Magic Hour. So this is just a sample. So Looks a little like that. Just like a little peel, so to speak. But what I want to do is just dip my sponge in here and put it on this side here. It's a beautiful shade. It sits so pretty down on the powder even. And then Tower 28, I love their blushes, their cream blushes. This is a new addition to my collection. This is the Holika, which is a brand you can get at Ulta. It's their Jelly Dough blusher in the shade Nuts Jelly. You open it up and it has a little mirror on there, and then it has this little covering, and there is the blush itself. So I'm going to take the other side. I use this side for the rush hour, or I'm sorry, the magic hour, and I'm going to use this side over here for the Holika. So here is the Holika in the rush hour. So this one is a little bit more pigmented and it's just a little bit brighter than this one, but the consistency of the blushes is different as well. So like Holika is more of a drier formula, okay? And then the Tower 28, I'm just going to dip my finger down in here if I can. It's more of a wet formula. So you can see both. This is Tower 28, this is Holika. See, there's a difference, but it's very similar in tone and the color that they're going for. So I do like that. I think it's so beautiful. So they're very similar, not exactly, but they're similar. So this next product, I hope you're going to be super excited for. It is the super popular Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Iced. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it. So there it is, swatched on my hand. And I have a dupe for it. And it is a super affordable dupe, and one that is like, you're gonna be shocked at how similar they are. Are you ready? The e.l.f. Face Duos in the shade Cantaloupe, just the highlighter here. That is a dupe for the Jaclyn Ice highlighter. Are you ready to see it? Look at that. The Jaclyn is a little bit more reflective, I'm not gonna lie, but as far as tone, this one is the same. So let's try it on face and see if you can tell a difference. So I'm first going to take Jaclyn's. I'm going to use my favorite highlight brush. Tap a little off. And then I'm just going to kind of put a little here. So pretty. I love this highlighter too, as with the rest of the world. Clean my brush. Let's put this one on this side. Okay, so here's this side. Alrighty, so here's Jaclyn. Very beautiful. Not taking anything from this one, but look at this one. Can you see a difference? If I'm looking straight on, can you tell? I'll hold my head still. But it's so pretty. I can't tell a difference, honestly. And if you can, that's okay too, but I just can't. One thing I like to do with all of my highlights is take a fluffy brush over top and just kind of diffuse it a little bit. And this just kind of like makes it not look like a stripe of highlight, you know? So for eyebrows, I wanted to give you a few options. In my last video, I gave you a little brow tutorial, so I'll give you some options for dupes here. This is the ABH Brow Wiz. This is the shade Medium Brown. It's a very small pencil, much like the Precisely My Brow from Benefit, which I also have. But a great dupe for it is the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. This shade that I have is Honey Brown. So I have a swatch, one next to the other. Can you tell the difference between the colors? I think they're pretty spot on. So Medium Brown and Honey Brown, those are very close dupes. Also, if you know me, you know I love the Urban Decay Brow Blade. It's one of my favorite things. And I have the shade Cafe Kitty. I went ahead and swatched the pencil next to it. It's a little bit lighter than these two, but still kind of in the same color family. Cafe Kitty. One thing I am going to dupe from this is the pen. So here is the pen side of Cafe Kitty. And the dupe is my NYX Lift and Snatch in the shade Caramel. So here are the two side by side. This is NYX and this is the Urban Decay Brow Blade. Very similar. So today for brows, I'm going to use the brow blade on one side in Cafe Kitty, and then I'm going to use the CoverGirl pencil and the NYX Lift and Snatch on this side here. If you're looking for a little brow tutorial, check my last video and you'll see how I do my brows. Okay, so my brows are done. Again, Urban Decay Brow Blade and Cafe Kitty on this side, and on the affordable dupe side is the NYX Lift and Snatch in the shade Caramel and the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in the shade Honey Brown. Very, very similar, very, very close, and I love, love, love a pen for my brows. Where I have very sparse brows, it just makes it so much easier. So for brow gel, we'll just do the Benefit Gimme Brow since everybody loves this stuff. It is very nice. It has a little tiny brush on it, and this is the shade 4, so I'm going to use it over here. I like to use a brow gel just to set everything in place. And then on this side, I like to use the e.l.f. Wow Brow. It's in the shade Brunette. It's not the exact shade that I need, but it'll do. So it also has fibers. It's a little bit larger than the Gimme Brow, but it still does the same thing. So I'm going to use it on this side. And I have faked my brow game yet again. One of my absolute favorite brow gels is this Makeup Revolution brow gel. It does not have fiber, so that's why I did not use it as a dupe. However, it does have a very similar brush to the Gimme Brow, and I have the shade Ash Brown. So this is one of my favorites. It's very affordable, just FYI. And I don't necessarily have to have fibers because I have sparse brows because of all the other stuff I do, but a fiber is nice when you have a sparse brow. Let's finish these eyes, shall we? So just going back to the Natasha Denona palette, I'm going to take the crease shade and just buff that under the bottom lash line. I think I used a little bit of Fascinated and Bold Type, but I think I'm just going to use Bold Type to go under this lash over here, and I clean this brush. And I kind of have a little bit of warm tones, a little bit of cool tones in my eyes, so this doesn't technically go with my eye look, but it's still a really good dupe that I want to share with you. It's the only shade I have. So this is the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Liner. It is in the shade Cocoa. So I'm just going to show you. Did you see how easy that was? And I'm barely pressed down. So beautiful, so creamy, so pigmented. It's amazing. But I also have the Revlon So Fierce Vinyl Eyeliner in the shade Mighty Mocha. Watch this. I pushed down just a little bit harder on that one, but let me tell you, it is amazing. It's creamy, pigmented, stays forever. So I pushed down a little harder on Victoria, but I promise these are great dupes of one. Well, the Revlon is a great dupe of the Victoria Beckham, and I think that it's just amazing to find a great dupe for Victoria Beckham. So here are the colors. These are my eyebrow swatches, but these are the colors here. Victoria's on the top and Revlon's on the bottom. So first I'm taking Victoria Beckham on this eye. I promise you, it's so good. If you ever get the chance to pick one up or you have it in your collection, go ahead, get one if you want one. It's just amazing. But also, the So Fierce vinyl liner is amazing as well. Okay, so let's do mascara really quickly. I love this Benefit, their Real Magnet Mascara. Been using it a lot in my videos, and if you need a good dupe, try the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High. It's amazing. Let me show you the ones. Very different, but also very similar at the same time. But you get a very similar effect on your lashes with these mascaras. So they're very good, amazing mascaras, but you can get a very similar look from both of these. Today I'm going to be using a different one though. I have the Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara and the Essence Lash Princess. I use this all the time. But this is a great dupe for the Benefit Bad Gal Bang. This is the Bad Gal Bang wand. And here is the Essence wand. So very similar. If you wanted, you could even use the Lash Sensational as a dupe as well. But today I'm going to use these two. So first I'm going to put Bad Gal Bang on this side. There's one eye done. Now I'm going to take the Essence Lash Princess on this side. Okay. So there are my lashes. This is Essence and Benefit. I actually like the Essence side better. These are my bad lashes though, but I still like Essence better. This was just a sample size. I had gotten in anything when I got from Sephora around Christmas time, so I didn't even purchase the bigger size, but it is a very good dupe. The Essence is a very good dupe for that. Okay, for lips, I have a good dupe for a lip liner. I have the KKW Beauty lip liner in the shade 0.5. Here is a swatch of that. And then I have the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF, a very popular shade. This is BFF, this is KKW. Even the consistency of the pencil is so similar. So I'm gonna put those on. So here it is. The BFF might be just a tiny bit cooler tone than the KKW, but they're very similar. And I don't have a lipstick. I just like a liner and gloss most of the time. That's what I've been using. So on this side, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Gloss Balm in the shade Fussy. This may be one that you guys have heard the dupe for before. That's okay, I'm going to share it with you anyway. So there's the Fenty side, and then the dupe is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Moon. So here are the lips. And here is a swatch. So that bottom one is Fussy from Fenty, and the one next is Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Moon. So very similar. I know that that was a very popular dupe on TikTok for a very long time. So I used to have a like smaller bottle of this, but this is just like a little sample. This is the All Nighter from Urban Decay. It's a sample. So I'm going to use that on this side of the face. We'll shake it up. There's not much in there, but I'm going to use it over here. There's a very nice mist on it. Very pretty. And a dupe for it is the Milani Make It Last. You don't necessarily have to have matte. Matte is my preference because I'm oily. But just the regular Make It Last is a great dupe for just the regular Urban Decay All Nighter. But the matte is my preference. But I'm going to use that on this side. I didn't used to really care about setting spray all that much. But I promise they do make a difference. I've come to realize. So here's my full face of dupes for the second time. What do you think? I know the eyeshadow looks just a tad bit different, but the whole point is that you can get a very similar look from two different palettes that are very different in cost, but who will do the same thing. So Natasha Denona, Stone Cold Fox, you're getting a whole lot more shadows in the Stone Cold Fox. You get 30 shadows in the Stone Cold Fox, and you get 15 in the Natasha Denona, so you're getting double the shadows for half the price, which is crazy. But I love both palettes. I think they're wonderful. I think it turned out really, really similar, and everything looks really good. I love the finish on both sides of the face. I think they look so similar, so super, super similar. I'll just do like a quick pan to both sides so you guys can kind of compare, contrast. But tell me what you think, what you like out of this, if you think it looks alike, if you think it doesn't, let me know. Tell me what you think. But I'm very, very happy to have found all these great dupes to save some money. I'll put up on the screen how much each was, and then I'll put here on the screen how much of a price difference that it was, so that you can see, you know, how much of a savings this side is compared to this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.